Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what time of day you are catching this video. So I've grabbed butterfly, I haven't grabbed butterflies at all, they're dragonflies, Dragonfly Garden, and this set comes with a punch, and I've mounted the two dragonflies and this infill and this flower. So you know how I was like really organised last night? Not so much tonight. So, you know, we can't be organised all the time, can we? So I have grabbed Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, Soft Sea Foam, Mint Macaron, Pool Party and Balmy Blue. I have the corresponding papers, cardstock when I say papers, and I have also grabbed, just because feeling in a bit of a glittery mood, because I did wonder whether we could do something with the rainbow glitter paper, maybe picking out that blue more, or we have this lovely ombre paper. So this is the red, but I'm sort of thinking we can probably get away with that end. And in my recent delivery I got the new pearlescent speciality paper, and this is beautiful. I don't know if you're going to get the full beauty on the camera of that shimmer. Can I get that in the light? So I'm thinking the inks will take a little while to dry on that. I've also got some vellum out as well. So basically I'm kind of just got a bit of everything. No idea what's going to go on. So yeah, let's watch and see. So I think I might try on, so I think I'm going to have a piece of this as a background behind a piece of white. So I'm going to have a coloured card base, colour to be decided. I'm going to cut a piece of that 10 by 14.4 as sort of a background, and then I suppose a bit of white might help me, mightn't it, to stamp directly onto that. I'm going to get a bit of shimmery white, if that is shimmery white. No. There we go. So I'm going to cut the shimmery white a centimetre smaller than that. So we are going to do 9. So this would be my card base, and then this will probably determine whether I just do some butterflies or whether I add I'm just thinking that on a coloured card base, dependent on what colours we do. So I could, actually that would fit. Or we put that in the middle, do some, I think you'd love it when I kind of just do it on the hop. So what I'm going to do before I stamp that, because I want inks to be dry on this, let's get those bits out of the way for the minute. So I'm going to do a soft sea foam and mint macaron, bit of So I've just taken a one of these blending brush. So the soft sea foam is very pale, so you can't particularly see the colour massively. Hopefully that will appear more, but this will definitely need to dry. But the paper just gives it a real shimmer. So just so you can see it doesn't soak in so much, so it's sitting much more on the surface. So you're going to have to be careful about making sure that's dry before we stamp onto that. So that definitely needs stays on to stamp on to that. I just thought that would make a slightly ethereal. What do I do with my bit of vellum? There it is. I might do more blue for this one. So I've stuck within the colours of the Subtles inks. So Pool Party and Balmy Blue. I'm going to use a separate blending brush. Pool Party being the slightly darker one of the two. Again, ink takes a little while to dry on vellum. Doesn't tend to soak in. You could use any colours. I'm kind of wanting the leaves of the leaves. Dear Lord. Is it Friday yet? The wings kind of have a slightly ethereal appearance, if that's such a word. But they will take a little while to dry, so I'm just going to bob those to one side to dry. I will probably use my I might go mint macaron as the card base, you know. Because then we could edge that in mint macaron. Clearly I know that was the wrong side of the card to be. Oh, that's so used to doing long thin cards, I nearly scored that the wrong way round. That is just, so that has a slightly more creamy look to it. And then that can go, and then I'm thinking a couple of dragonflies with the flower in the middle. I think I'm being a bit inspired by my, I'm going to ink it in the mint macaron, I think. Inspired by my garden full of flowers going crazy that aren't lawn. But we embrace nature because the bees love it. We haven't got any dragonflies. We don't have water, so. But we do have lots of bees and some butterflies. So we're keeping nature going. So just stamping that in the centre, because what I can do is take my, again, the Stamp-Right markers come in colour families, so I can use all the Subtles colours. It's one of the things I love about Stampin' Up is having the ability to coordinate really quite simply by, you could just buy in to the Subtles Colours, have a mixed pack of card, mixed pack of pens and a few of the inks. Because potentially with the Stampin' Right markers, you... Oh, that one was rolling away. You don't need to have all the colours of ink, because you can use these Stampin' Right markers to ink up a stamped an image before you stamp it. So it's a fantastic way of really accessing fantastic coordination. And punches are a great way to get into crafting as well, because you don't need, obviously you do need a punch, but you don't need anything else. But you could, these cards could be done without using the punch. I want my mint macaron. I might add a bit of pool party. I never quite know whether pool party is a blue or a green. It's an interesting mix. Well, I guess that, yeah, as the name would suggest, it's kind of pool coloured. So hopefully everybody's having a great week. I've got a craft day on Saturday, so be excited for playing, which means I've got some new bits and pieces to play with. The box is still sitting on the side, tempting me, trying to wait. I've lasted so far. Not very good once I have a package. I just want it opened. But I thought, I can't do it till Saturday. I can't craft with it till Saturday anyway, so I'm going to wait. So that's going to be a fantastic day. So I'm just adding a little bit more depth into some of those stalks with the Stampin' Right. Markers. Add a bit more colour into some of those leaves. It's quite therapeutic, that. So then let us see, where is my, let's just do it in, try it in Memento, which, oh, there's two, I might do those, they're slightly more ethereal wings, aren't they? So I want a nice black body. Just thinking, hoping this works. This is what you get when, you know, I've done no prep. So again, that needs to dry. Take a little while on the vellum, and I suspect it'll take a little while on here as well. Now, of course, I want the lighter colouring on the top wing kind of coming down. Don't know why particularly. Do it either way around. Doesn't really matter, does it? And this, if I wanted to add more colour, then potentially I could ink with that. But for now, I am going to use my heat gun. So just, oh dear, that's my light falling down. Let's get my... It's all going on, isn't it? The light's falling down. Don't know why that suddenly fell, excuse me. Doesn't normally misbehave. I might rest it on there. You can see that's still quite wet. And we don't want to smudge it. So using that lovely ombre paper probably isn't going to work for what I've created here, but the rainbow paper might. Just drying that off and hoping that it'll just have a little subtle bit of colour to it. We shall wait and see. But what we could do, I mean, there's nothing subtle about rainbow paper, but it's gorgeous. But I think Stays On is going to be my go-to ink for this one. I just need to find it. There we go. There's my Stays On. So I'm going to do... So Stays On is alcohol based, so it will just dry that a little bit quicker. Use the other butterfly. Why am I calling it a butterfly when it's a dragonfly? And sort of putting it on a slight angle to pick up those paler blues. Oops. So the Stays On, you do need to make sure you, I always recommend with Stays On that you do get the refill as well, but make sure you get the lid back onto it as soon as possible because it will just evaporate. So literally to open a punch, just slides like that. Let's see. Oh, need to cut a bit off the bottom. Actually, I don't think that's quite dry either. I see a little bit of the black is. So literally with a punch, you just line up centrally. And the benefit that we get is we get another. Oh, but yeah, that's worked out quite well. You can see on the white background there that that's picked up a little bit of the colour. Just added a little bit of interest. Rather pleased with that. So again, just cutting a bit of that off. Same again, popping it in. Lining it up. So this one will be a slightly more solid image because it's on that shimmery paper. And then let's get this one cut out. Just need to cut a strip of that. I use Rainbow Glimmer paper for absolutely ages. Does anybody else do that? Go through phases of what they're crafting with. Just need to get as close as we can with a punch. So we just need to cut that corner off. And again, just lining that up. So this one's body isn't as solid, slightly thicker paper. So. But potentially we could layer those two up to give a nice effect by curling those wings the other way. And look, oh, look at those little two together. Oh, pretty. Oh, a little glue dot, and that's that one sorted, isn't it? See if you just see that one. Could go that way. That one doubled up. Could go that way. And then we could have that little one kind of even going off there. Now I could have a little sentiment in that corner. Ooh, do you know what might work quite well? This is the other thing. Thank you for your kindness, because the thank you would fit quite well there, and then that kindness can come slightly. You see how I can kind of fit that in next to that flower. There you go, you see? Go from no idea what I'm going to create to having a card. What more can a crafter ask for? I might... No, I'm going to do it in mint macaron because of the card base. So I think that's... Never be afraid just to grab a load of things and just give it a whirl. Take whatever inspiration you can from around you and just give it a whirl. I always say anyone can craft. Use a little glue dot. Got another fantastic little kit to share with you. That will probably be over the, maybe on Sunday after my day's crafting on Saturday. Introduce another little kit to you. See that little butterfly. Why am I calling them butterflies? It's not even Friday yet. Obviously needs to be, doesn't it? Dragonflies. It's because they're really pretty. Made like all ethereal, and this shimmer, no, pearlescent speciality paper is just gorgeous. I'm actually going to put a couple of glue dots on the back of his wings, and that's all that's going to connect him to the card. Actually, I might have him flying slightly over. Cool. So just using a bone folder or a pencil or something suitable that you've got around, and again a couple of little glue dots. Oh. Stick that on top of there, but then you can see that deepens the colour, and then you get that sort of shimmery underneath, almost to create an in-flight. Might pop a little bit of tape on the back of that. Obviously if you've just got wet glue, then wet glue is perfect for all gluing and sticking. I'm going to curve the corners, or two of the corners. I think I'm going to curve that one and that one. And oh, you know what I might do as well? I am going to sponge a little bit of mint macaron around. Actually, you know what I might do? I might do pool party. And I'm going to mount that on a piece of foam sheet. So it could go flat. All you have to remember, obviously, is postage. If you do start creating layers. So I'm just taking a sponge, inking it, and then kind of dragging it around the edge. Just gives a very subtle appearance. So the more you angle it, the more you'll pick up on the card itself. And then I'm going to place a bit of, so you could just glue that straight down, no problem whatsoever. Now this is adhesive foam sheet, so you could use dimensionals and put dimensionals all the way around the edge, or a bit of foam sheet will just keep that a little bit more stable. So sometimes I find foam sheet slightly better, but it's, if you've only got dimensionals, that's absolutely fine. We definitely need to add a little bit more bling, don't we, to the card. I'm going to use wet glue to stick this down because of that foam layer. If we start taping to the edges, it will cause a problem. So sometimes you might wonder why we have so many glues, but it's kind of because each one has its own benefit. So because I'm using wet glue, you can see how I've got that bit of wriggle room for a little while. But I can also press that around the edges. So you can see those dragonflies just slightly off this space, but still within the card. And I think we need, just have some rhinestones on there just to add a bit of extra bling. Like, it doesn't need it necessarily, but who doesn't love a bit of bling? So we'll put one there, one there, one maybe there. Generally do them in odds rather than evens. Don't think it needs anything else particularly. I think that's rather cute. We could add that extra, but I think keep within the threes. Rule of three. But I might do, let's take my balmy blue pen and just ink that in a little bit more, and just slightly see the glue dot. I'm just going to mask it a little bit, just being a little bit fussy, making it slightly darker so you can see less of it. It's difficult when you're gluing vellum down, but there we go. So that is Dragonfly Garden with the Dragonfly Punch. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that. I will share the shopping list for that as well afterwards, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.